There was this subscription-based thing called Revolut Cat that was about as rare as something from the 1960s. In total, about 10,000 people probably participated, and the total prize money for all families was 50 million yen, with 10 million yen for first place. There were various other prizes, including one worth 3 million yen, and there was one more prize. You could have your ad displayed in Times Square, which is really high profile.
Mylelu?
Isn't it kind of like a battle? I thought the vibe was interesting, and having a hackathon really sets a strict deadline, which boosts developers' productivity and makes it more fun. The last hackathon was so much fun that I ended up going full-time, quitting my previous job and joining the company. This time we had 60 people, which was just right. Not too short-term, but also something you can show off in the long run. So I decided to participate, and one of the events was the Views in Public Award. I had originally wanted to do something with Views in Public.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know about Views in Public?
Yeah, I get it.
It's basically about making the entire development process public.
Oh, that's what it means.
It's actually a concept that's been around for a while, but recently
Right.
it's being updated to fit the current times, and I think things like the spread of social media have a lot to do with it. Up until now, there were some SNS marketing efforts, but they weren't really essential. In times like these, the product is everything, but even the elements of the product get scattered. So if that's the case, why not make the entire product development process into marketing? I've always been really interested in this approach, and since there's also the Views in Public Award, we decided to do something called Dialogue. Basically, we set a challenge. If we can't win a prize in 60 days, we're done for. We called it the 60K in 60 days challenge, and we're posting daily on YouTube. That's what we're doing, and you can check the link. I'm also learning filming and video editing from day zero and doing it myself.
I'm basically turning into a YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do not think there are really people who are like a hybrid of global entrepreneurs, YouTubers, and software entrepreneurs. Sure, there are YouTubers like MrBeast, but most of them are doing direct to consumer. Not that direct to consumer is bad, but I do not think there are people who are making apps and are also like YouTubers. Plus, I do not think there are Japanese people doing this on a global scale either. So I want to be that person. For example, I release a product, add a feature where you can register spots, or a new travel feature, and people use it. Then comments come in about those spots, and I respond to those too. It is like YouTube-driven development, and I think that is actually a pretty good approach.
I see.
That way you can get feedback as quickly as possible, and people can really feel that you're actively working on it.
And also,
right now, things are still a bit rough, but as we get better at this, and since it's basically become a full-time effort, it'll turn into a story in itself. That story is something AI can't really create. And since it's real people doing it, that's also something AI can't really replicate. Our immediate goal is to win the Build in Public Award at Hackathon, get the 3 million yen prize, put up an ad in Times Square, and then raise funds both in the US and Japan and talk to Japanese organizations, something like that.
yeah, it was definitely me, right? Like ping pong, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool if you could actually put up an ad in Times Square.
Yeah, I want to go to Times Square. I want to do this.
This,
Right, so when we do this in America, just as it is, like back then, there's this image among Japanese shareholders and others that it's a really big thing. Like, are there really people who would invest in this? I think existing shareholders will probably look at it based on their current share ratios. Right now, we're not planning to ask for anything, but if over these next 2 months, through things like Build in Public, people start to think these guys are trustworthy, or their product is getting better, then in 2 months we're going to America. So if there are any local Americans like angel investors or people with a proven track record, I'd love for you to introduce us. That's what I'm thinking right now. About 500 million.
50,000.
And of course, we'll be moving forward with a hybrid of Japanese and English in America, but in total, it's about the size of a seed round in the US. That's about it. But in the US...
Ideally, it would be truly great if we could successfully raise funds, perhaps like a seed round here in the United States. I see. So with the current political policy and economic climate in the US, it certainly seems like those particular kinds of people are the ones who, that's precisely the impression I have genuinely gotten. Speaking of that, there's Askell and Trumply, among others. There's about 500 million in Trumply. Trump.
Is that because Trump won? Is it because he won? Because of that narrative?
So, because he ultimately won with that particular narrative, there are indeed two distinct markers. Okay, I completely get it. So, is there any definitive proof regarding the English language?
No proof.